Hey, ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing? Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Today, the 1st of June, 2026. One day left to vote in the primaries of this election season to figure out who's going to move forward into the November general primary. Oh my, aren't you excited? I know I am. I haven't filled out my ballot yet because I'm one of those that likes to vote the day of. So I'm going to probably do that tonight and then drop it off tomorrow. We'll do a little video because everybody else seems to be doing one of those to highlight that point. Fast video today. Today is the day Tina Peters gets released as well. Congratulations, Miss Peters, on Colorado finally seeing the light, though the conditions are kind of like sketchy on what's going to happen to you next. I would personally think you should legally try to get the hell out of that state and never go back to it. But hey, that's just me. You're going to have to do whatever it is you decide to do. There are a lot of people that seem to support you, and I'm sure that they would help you in that endeavor to find a new life somewhere else other than the people of Colorado have provided you. But be that as it may, now that's over with. 1st of June. 1st of June. Wow, this is an exciting day. I've seen so many bots last night scanning through the X platform that I'm amazed at how low, the low propensity voters, as they call them, just blindly follow the brightest shiny object in the box, like moths to a flame. It's most interesting. I would imagine most of these people have an intelligence level above low and can understand an easy concept. But for the Hiltonite people, it seems to go along with the candidate. He's a Brit. We're getting ready to celebrate our 250th anniversary of defeating England to establish our nation. I'm not understanding why nobody gets that concept. Oh, became an American. Okay, he sold out his country and he switched over to America. But a lot of history shows he ran from the crap he created over there because he saw golden shower opportunities over here to put his hand into the plundering of California assets. A meteoric rise in 5 years. I haven't seen any American go to England and 5 years later run for parliament, much less get into their parliament office. Why is that? Because I don't think that they would allow it, number one. Then he became a citizen, but his wife didn't. Is she too good, or are we too sorry? There's something there. But hey, I digress. Mr. Hilton and his campaign run-up for the last 2 years has created 5 government agencies. Now he wants to create another government agency to some gentleman from the Libertarian Party who cashiered out, stopped his campaign to join the Hilton campaign because they want to plant 3 billion trees in the state of California. You created a department to plant trees. You're the most prolific man who's made departments in California. And hell, sir, you're not even in office yet, and you're creating more cost to the state. Nobody sees this because they're so enamored by the fact that you're doofy asses from Fox News, and that seems to be the only impressing light you have on anybody. I saw coming up at a San Diego Republican endorsement convention the potential of our party putting Sheriff Bianco on a pedestal and endorsing his ass. And you saw that too because your happy ass was begging for a POTUS endorsement. And Bianco, we'll take off on him later. But you begged the president for an endorsement. And you really hammered home that point on the 4th of April. Surprisingly enough, he gave you the template letter that gave you the endorsement on the 5th of April, and then you went batshit crazy for the week leading up to the convention. I find it funny that your best buddy and strategist behind the scenes, according to what I've seen and heard, Carl DeMille, never came out and supported your endorsement once you got it. To date, he still hasn't said anything about, congratulations, Steve, you got an endorsement from the president. Yeah, I'm Carl DeMille. That's my man. He hasn't said shit. Why is that? Because Carl DeMille was smart enough to know, just like many others of us are smart enough to know, Trump just fucked you, but you're too stupid to figure it out. So you ran with it to the convention. You got signs plastered everywhere. You're running with the, I'm Steve Hilton, I'm from Fox News. I got a plan. We're going to defeat the Democrats' 16-year rule with my wits and my D7 atomizer. Oh, by the way, I got a POTUS endorsement. You press that envelope hard, and leading up to the conventions, you could hear the atmosphere in the conventions. You could sense the atmosphere at the convention. The GOP was now screwed because it was one of two things, even though there was a third option. But it was one of two things that just happened when you pulled that little stunt that you did. Screw Trump, we're going to stick with Bianco. And now you suffer the wrath of the president and the National Republican Committee. Or go with your happy ass, the foreigner, a.k.a. akin to Arnold Schwarzenegger, only worse, given your background, and piss off 25% of the so-called Republican voters in the state that would have rejected you because of your political leanings. What do they do? What do they do? And I went around telling folks the only thing that you can do to politically save yourselves is to not endorse shit. Call it a day. Take the heat for that inaction, but don't take a worse ass whipping for the wrong action. And neither choice was right. You were stuck. But again, Mr. Hilton, you're too stupid to know how dumb you are when Trump jumped in and gave you what you asked for, basically what you begged for. And so the vote happened. Now, coincidentally, for those of you that don't know, the vote happened after a tumultuous voting process with the treasurer position. Carl DeMille pick versus David Serpa. Oh, that was a good one. I'm glad I was there to witness that bullshit. That was funny. David Serpa's team got pissed because they pulled Rule out of their ass right after the first vote to challenge that, hey, it's within 2%. There's an error right there. We need to recount this. And they did. And Serpa lost 5 points, and the other lady, Ms. Dox Hawks, whatever her name is, she picked up 5 points and resoundingly beat you, which forced you to complain again that the rule to allow the second voting was done incorrectly. Procedurally, there was no quorum, there was no vote, there was no talk or discussion, there was nothing. But you complained after the vote. Now, Corin Rankin, the GOP chair in the state of California, and her surrogate group sitting on that panel, allowed that vote to stand. Now we have the template. Now we have something we can grab onto. You've made the mark. You've drawn the line and you've established a point. Here comes Bianco and Hilton. That convention was not a convention for other candidates. That convention was a sausage party of Hilton and Bianco supporters. For those of you that weren't there and missed it, the Hilton people were pissed off because there were more Bianco people. Both of you had bought and paid for his presence, so who cares? Hilton and Bianco got signs everywhere. It's literally their convention. Hell, they poured money into the convention. Oh, imagine that. Candidates candidates supporting conventions. There's no potential chance of corruption there. No. I pour in money to your convention. I donate. I'm a sponsor. You don't think people haven't gotten a little pull out of that bullshit? I've seen that at the Kim Eater events. Sponsors get sway. This was no different. Chad didn't have an endorsement from POTUS, but Hilton did. He let everybody know 2 days prior to the vote that he got an endorsement from Trump. Literally in your face. Everybody's kissing his ass. But it's obvious you were not impressing anyone there. Many a delegate I heard were pissed because they did not like being force-fed only 2 people to pick from. And they didn't like being force-fed the 2 people who were chosen for them to pick from. There was a party that was there. It was an after the vote party, but still, it was a party. Steve Hilton had one, and so did Chad. Now, if you listen to the people that went to the Steve Hilton party, I want you to picture 18th century England in the royal ball, with the music playing accordingly, of the lackluster response akin to the funeral dirge of dead people about to be buried. And so folks migrated out of the Hilton party to the Bianco party that was basically celebrating Viva la Vida Loca and just really kicking it. Chad was a better candidate. Chad was more supportive. Chad was getting support. No, people just wanted to party. And his party sucked, so they went to Chad's party, which was more livelier. We've seen those types before, yes. Not that they supported Chad, they supported the festivities. Chad had a better ensemble there. The very next day, you had your vote. That was on a Sunday. And then you had the temper tantrum inside of the big tent. And neither Chad nor Steve got close to the 2% we can force another vote moment. Oh, we couldn't get to that. Let me use my example back here. We couldn't get to that line. Ugh. Chad got the majority of the votes, Leo. He got the popular vote. Chad didn't get, there's no such thing as a popular vote in the convention, people. First off, anyone that spreads that bullshit is telling you propaganda, and they're lying through their teeth. There's no such thing as a popular vote. He got more votes? Yes. Did he get more votes than Hilton? Yes. Now, raw numbers, you got votes. What was the intent behind the voting? You and I will never know. But I don't think people voted with Chad just for Chad. I think people voted with Chad to go against Steve Hilton and vice versa. I think there's a bunch of rhinos that could be running around in the party that probably decided to just cause chaos and not vote, whatever the case might be. But only 800 people voted. Now, there was some undecided votes. That was like close to 75. 880 people voted, so almost 900 people cast a ballot. Here's another little thing that you're not aware of in the San Diego convention with the GOP this cycle. 1,511 people should have been present to cast ballots. Instead, there is barely 1,129, so you carved out almost 400 bodies from the convention. Well, they gave up proxies. No, they didn't. Proxies seem to be all accounted for. There were only 1,112 people, 1,129 people casting ballots, proxies included. What happened to the other 400? They didn't show up, one reason or the other. That was a huge percentage of votes. If those folks had been present, or if their mere status as voting delegates would have continued and been allowed to have been counted, your threshold to get a 60% of anything endorsement was pumped up to 908. Many of those candidates didn't get 908. They barely got over 608, which is what they needed. Oh my goodness, that was a near dropping of the standard to almost 300 points below what the 60% should have been showing, which was off of 1,511 people. Bianco and Hilton averaged 450 votes apiece. Slight edge to Bianco, but who cares? A loss is a loss, whether it's by 1 point or 5,000 points, your ass lost. Neither one of you got endorsed. Well, neither did you, Leo. Yeah, I didn't get endorsed either. But you had resources galore and you still didn't get endorsed. I got ignored because you bastards didn't want to let a veteran speak, but I get it. That's your rules. But you got ignored with money, with power, with influence, with fame and fortune, and you still got rejected. First thought that hit for me, let's see what's going to happen now. Let's see how these people react. Well, it took an hour. And in my mind, first thing I thought of, Chad Bianco, well, he might have gotten the endorsement prior to the POTUS bullshit, but it got yanked from him. In my mind, I'm looking at this as Chad Bianco was hoping to get an endorsement, but not expecting to get it or secure it. After the POTUS thing, it's pretty much assured he would not. So the disappointment from him, though it was there, should not be overwhelming. And it wasn't, because 1 hour after the voting process happened, Chad came online. Excuse me, you can find it on X. And he thanked the people that voted for him. Very magnanimous of him. Okay, that's nice. That's about it. There was a little disappointment, you could detect it, but at least he said, thank you for those that voted for me. Okay, 1 up for Chad. Credit due where credit is due. Steve Hilton, on the other hand, when that vote happened, I could just picture Steve Hilton. Abject shock at what just transpired. What the F moment. Let me put it to you in my Steve Hilton voice. I don't understand what the hell is the problem here with you Americans. I'm Steve Hilton. I've got a plan, and I'm from Fox News. And then I got a POTUS endorsement, and why are you people not supporting what President Trump supported? Because I pulled one out of my ass to get that, and now I got an endorsement, and you rejected me? Steve Hilton thought he was going to muscle his way into the endorsement convention with the POTUS piece of paper. POTUS piece of paper. The 3 Ps. The PP. PPP. For his golden shower. PPP. Okay, anyway. He thought he was going to muscle his way through the endorsement and get it because he got, however you want to call it, a presidential endorsement. Trump endorsed Hilton. And anywhere else in this nation, I give it to you. President Trump's word, President Trump's name carries weight. But not in California, bro. You must not know where you're at. A Trump endorsement in Maine, probably effective. A Trump endorsement in North Dakota, probably effective. A Trump endorsement down there in Florida, highly effective, more than likely. But in California, it's worth the toilet paper it was written on. That's how much a Trump endorsement means here, especially now, given what we're going through in California. But again, you were too stupid to understand the concept because you thought you owned California with that endorsement. Mr. Hilton, you just got taught a valuable lesson about California, but you were here for 5 years. You should already know about Californians. We talk Republican, but we're a demo state. 2 to 3 Democrat voters for every 1 Republican. The party even admits to that. Have you not noticed the No Kings rallies that have been up and down this state since last year and then again this year? Was your brain not functioning to see when those people get pissed and they send out whatever they do to send out, thousands descend from nowhere? Republican Party can't even do that. But the demos can. Talk shit in L.A., you'll have thousands in L.A. pouring out into the streets. Talk shit in San Francisco, you'll have thousands pouring out into the streets. Trump endorsed you in the face of no king rallies? Only a dumbass would not understand that concept. Carl DeMaio has never publicly praised you for getting the Trump endorsement. His sidekick Tangipa has. Good for him, but that doesn't mean anything. So what? David's a youngster in the greater scheme of life. Carl DeMaio is the one that holds the political sway, and he has never come out to support you on getting a Trump endorsement. Why is that, sir? Because Carl DeMaio is not stupid enough not to understand what just happened prior to that convention. You got effed. The process got effed. But you ran with it like a little baby holding a sucker that you just snatched, as if you were God's gift to humanity in the state of California. And then they had that vote, and the shock was evident. Your ass got blindsided again. Because the first time I seen you shocked things didn't go your way is when you got embarrassed on a Kim Yater governor platform that we shared, and they cut your ass off on the mic and you look stupefied. They told you 2-minute response times and you wanted to go into a 5-minute dialogue. No, sir, that's not how it works. And you meekly handed the mic back. Same thing here. You got shocked because your endorsement did not carry weight to carry you across the finish line. Let's see. Sheriff Bianco reacted. It took him an hour. Where's Steve? Go on next and you'll see Steve. 2 hours after that vote was taken. Oh my. That was funny. Well, it doesn't matter. Now that that's done with, now that the convention is over with, everybody needs to rally around the real leader. That's me, Steve Hilton for Fox News. And we need to support the leader of the pack. That's me, Steve Hilton for Fox News. We need to rally around the leader, the real leader, and support the only endorsement that matters, the one from the President of the United States of America. You're so stupid, you don't know how ignorant you are, sir. You basically just shit on every Republican at that convention with that statement. And I don't think it was scripted. I think that one came from the heart. That was probably one of the few things that you've ever said that was truthful. Let's rally behind the only endorsement that mattered, which was your POTUS endorsement. My question started to go to the delegates there, and they started to look at it and started to, it makes sense. If the POTUS endorsement was the only one that mattered, why were you there? Why did you show up to San Diego? Why did you try to beg, borrow, steal, buy, purchase, influence, pressure, beg? Why did you do all that for those people to give you the state-sanctioned Republican Party endorsement if it didn't matter? Blind man could see that a mile away. Your little happy ass got your feelings hurt. And it showed because it took you 2 hours to make a response. Shouldn't have even taken you that long, but hey, you know, politics is what politics is. You got to craft up your message, give it time to see which way the wind blows and which will have the least negative impact. Your dumb ass took 2 hours to come out and basically tell everybody to F off. Piss off, you morons, you didn't vote for me? Well, fuck you. And I find this funny as hell, I'm sorry. That showed, again, things about Steve Hilton that this party should be recoiling from, and they're not. Now you got the Libertarian that's cut out his race, and Steve's picked him up for the Department of Environmental Progress. Dude, you've created 6 government establishments, and your stupid ass ain't even in office yet. What the hell are you doing? You want to consolidate all the groups that are basically screwing California. You want to put them into one major compilation of crap and call it what? The Department of Fuck Up? Have them all there, one place, to do what? Consolidate? Make it easier for them to screw the state? I'm not sure what your intentions are, but you got a plan. The problem is, we don't want to see your plan in effect because it's not going to be good for us. You got caught talking about overturning Prop 13. You got caught not so gung-ho about the Second Amendment. They don't have weapons in England, but they got millions of them in America, and that makes you nervous. You outright said we have to amend the Constitution, even though it might be illegal, so we can have California declare bankruptcy to fix our financial problems with the pensions that the unions have gotten. That was your plan? Take our state and declare it bankrupt so that you can fix a pension problem? What the hell kind of leadership is that? Oh, I forgot. You never were a leader. You're for Fox News. That's the only reason why this party has pumped your ass up and put you on a pedestal and pushed you and rammed you down everybody's throat that you're something, and you're not. You got beat on a forum in Yorba Linda. That crowd was your crowd, and I took you apart in 2 hours and made you and caused you to have that statement. Got you on a rule that they try to overrun in your favor because you're Steve Hilton. How dare an upstart like me front Steve Hilton? I toasted your ass and had a parliamentarian back me up with it. If I could do that in a forum, ooh, what I could do to you in a debate. But we're long past that now, aren't we? Ballots have been cast. You've sauced up some people who don't know any better. You have a wife that can't vote for you, a British citizenship status that's still questionable. You're creating jobs for people in departments to increase the size of government, not decrease it. You've made statements that said you're not a Republican. You're pro-abortion. Don't give me that crap. You're not. You sidestep around that like a snake slithering through the grass. You're part of the 57% that wants abortion with exceptions. You made those statements, not I. And Jack Hibbs, the pastor that backs your silly ass, shame on him for looking like the false prophet that you are, supporting a man that's pro-abortion to even argue the point that he feels that he's in a minority in a majority voting bloc. Mr. Hibbs, maybe you need to go into a confessional booth and do a little praying. Or better yet, go to a convent and pray for your soul to get redeemed. Because you are looking like a twit. The Republican Party pushed this man onto the state of California. After pumping up Bianco and finding out that he wasn't all that in a bag of shit, then they gave it to Steve Hilton after being rejected by Mel Gibson and James Woods. And then a month of silence before Hilton pops up out of the woodwork with his golden shower. And some of you are just now understanding what golden shower means? Okay. But Leo, you must have been mistaken when you made that comment about golden shower. Did you mean? No, I'm going to tell you exactly what I mean. It's exactly what the two words mean when put together. Golden shower. Look it up, grok it, whatever it is you need to do. That's exactly what I mean, because that's exactly what he's going to do to California. And the party's pushing it. And they're forcing you to accept it. Don't fall for the okie doke. My name is Leo Naranjo IV. Today is one day before the polls close. I hope I can get your vote for the governorship of this state to have somebody that has sense, that makes sense, not the charlatan that they're trying to slam down our throats. Or the other guy that has so much dirt in his backyard that... Well, 178 years of history has already determined where he's going in the polls, so it really doesn't matter. God bless y'all. Have a great day, and I hope you cast your ballots. Got another video coming up soon, continuing the saga. Take care, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.